let's talk about the supplies we will be using for painting all of our natural subjects. First of all, let's start with paper. So I will be using this paper by 𝐏𝐚𝐢𝐧𝐭. As for the other art supplies, let's see what else do we need. Of course, we need our watercolors. So I will show you what watercolors I will be using. I will be using those in tubes. So this is how they look like. This one is pretty empty, this one is full. And watercolors in tubes are exactly the same as watercolor in pans. The only difference is that the watercolor here is a bit more bird. So we are painting a flamingo today. So I will show you the reference. Here, this is our flamingo. And now I will walk you through this process here of how we will sketch it on paper. So, first step, we will start from outlining the general position of our bird on paper. So to do that, what is easier, I will make a rectangle. So I'm using my 2B pencil now, and I am creating this rectangle. I'm not pressing too hard on my pencil. So remember, I told you don't use too hard pencils or too soft pencils. So if you use a very soft pencil, you will end up with very dark lines, and we don't want that. And if you use a very hard pencil, you will very likely be damaging your watercolor paper. So we don't want that either. That's why B, 2B, HB are perfect. So my goal now is to create this rectangle in the middle of my sheet of paper. You see, I'm not pressing too hard, so my lines are visible, but they're not very, very bold, not very dark. So it should not be perfect, just eyeball it. This is how my rectangle looks like, and what I will need to do is to place an oval inside of this rectangle. So what I'm actually doing, so this is like a general shape where the head of my bird fits, so where the flamingo fits. Then I need to do this oval. As I said, it's going to be a bit tilted. So imagine that this is the central line of this oval, and I'm doing it, making it this way, so positioning it this way. So it's not straight, you see, the oval is tilted. So something like this. And after that, I need to position one more oval right here. So this oval will just represent a general shape of our flamingo. So this is where the neck will go. So this already here is the movement of our neck. So I already placed it here with this oval. And with the smaller oval that I'm positioning in this top right corner, I will outline the head. So again, I'm just eyeballing it, nothing very precise. So this oval here already tells me where the head of my flamingo will be. After that, I need to understand where is the tip of the beak of the bird. So there are different ways of how you can do it. You can eyeball it, you can use different methods. What I will show you is this trick you can make is you can divide this rectangle into equal parts. So just eyeball it, right? So these are 3 equal parts, and then vertically, and also the same thing horizontally. So I need to divide it in 3 equal parts vertically and horizontally. You can also use a ruler if you want, if you're kind of stressed out about being precise, but I just eyeballed it. And then I just bring these lines here. So I create this grid that will then guide me in the process. So something like this. And now what I will do, I would add this point here. So you see I got this like middle rectangle in the center, and I will put a point in the lower right corner of this rectangle that I obtained. So this point here will guide me of where the point of the beak of my bird will be, approximately, more or less, right? So this is just a general scheme. After that, I need to start outlining the neck of my bird better. So, as I said, we are using this left side of the oval as already a guiding line for the neck. So this is the left side of the neck already. Now I need to draw the right side of the neck, and it's very easy. All I need is just using my big brush. You can use your medium brush. And I will need some cadmium red for this mix and some indigo. Let me just show you what I'm doing. So I just squeeze a little bit of cadmium and indigo on my palette. So I will use some of my red to put it here. You see, I'm applying just small quantities of color. Same thing with indigo. And there you go. And let's start from there. So let's start mixing this color. I will mix it on the separate segment, not on the same segment. So adding some water. Then with the tip of my brush, I'm just adding a touch of red. I don't want this color to be too dark, and then just a touch of indigo. You see, I got too much indigo, so now this color is too dark. So what I usually do in these cases, I just go and I kind of take away the excess with my paper towel, add more water, and I see I already have indigo, so I don't need to add more indigo, I need to add more cadmium red. So that's what I'm doing here. Did that, and now it's better, but it looks a bit too reddish for me now, so I will just add a tiny touch of indigo. So you see, it's really a matter of a tiny touch. So now I'm happy with this color. So this is what I wanted. Now I will do the swatches in just a few moments, but just to show you what this color looks like, I will show it to you here on this white sheet of paper. So this color right here is this one. So you see, it's a very light gray. It's a bit reddish, but doesn't have any, it's pretty neutral. So what we need to do now is just to mix the same color, but in its darker version. So what you can do is just to mix the same color, but just add more pigment to it. The other way you can do this whole process is actually to go the light gray, this one here. Take this mix and I apply it to the whole area of the beak, also to the eye. I'm just not touching the head, so the furry, like the head where there are feathers on it, I'm not touching it. I'm just covering the beak and the eye with this color. Again, you see it's pretty light, so I just need to be a bit careful not to go beyond the area of the beak, because I don't want the color to be there. So I'm just covering the beak. Again, if your brush is too big for this, you can just go ahead and take a smaller one if you think you're not precise enough when you do so. So if you're not, go and grab a bigger brush. Once I'm done, and once this layer here is still wet, what I will do is I will take the darker, so the second mix number 2, and I will apply it to the left side of the beak when it's still wet. So you see what happens? I get this blooming, and these two colors will mix together very nicely, and it allows me, you see, to instantly create this color transition between light and shadow. So I suppose that my light comes from the right side, and on the left side there are some pinks for that. So we will start from the light pink, medium pink, and dark pink. So we actually already started to mix this color previously, and this color is exactly the same as the one we used for the beak, so the mix number 1 from the last step. So all I need to do to create this mix is to take some cadmium red, some ochre, and some water. And that's it. My color will be ready. So maybe dilute it even a bit more with water. And it should be something similar, maybe just slightly darker than the one we mixed previously, but very, very similar. So this is mix number 1. Mix number 2 is exactly the same, but we will just add even more pigment to it. So this color should be even more concentrated. So let me just add more ochre to my palette so I can do that. And basically it's just going to be the exact same color, but in its more saturated version. There you go, more red. I think now it looks pretty good. Let's try it on. Yeah, I think I like it. Okay, color number 2 is ready. And now let's mix the third color. So basically it's going to be the exact same thing, but I will add even a touch of carmine to it, or you can use quinacridone, so something that will help us to darken this color even more. So it can also be a touch of indigo. Actually, let me try this one. Even more carmine, so something like this. I think I got something I like. Let me try that. Yes, this is exactly what I was looking for. So you see these 3 colors are all different. So there's the base is the same, but they're all slightly different. So I am happy with how these 3 colors turned out, and now it's time to apply them. So we will start by adding this first light color to the whole surface of our bird. So as usual, we start from light to dark. So I take this color and I apply it to the whole surface of the bird, except the beak, of course. So we're not finished with the beak, but we are done with it for now. So we will paint the head and the neck separately. There you go. So just make sure that your paint is not drying while you're doing so. So it's very important that you create this uniform wash. It means that there will be no visible brush strokes. So you see, I should not leave these edges here to dry. I kind of need to, you know, take them and bring them lower, 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 and lower until I reach this end of the bird. So this is the trick in making washes. So you see now I'm running out of color, so what I will do, I will just grab some from the medium and just dilute it with a bit of water and keep going. So it's better that if you don't have any visible brush strokes at this stage. If you do have some, if something got dry, if something happened, of course nothing bad will happen, so don't worry, it's not going to be visible. But just for the practicing, just for practice and just for so you know, it's better if you finish this. And so I go, accidentally messed up with the contour of my bird, but you see how you can correct it. You just go there with your paper towel real quick and you blot this area so that the paper absorbs the color. And after, when it gets just a bit drier, I can then go and correct it. There you go. So let me continue to add this color to the bird. So this is mix number 2. I think I've probably added near the eye again. And I think I'm going to stop here. So I hope you enjoyed painting this flamingo, and we've learned different techniques here today: how to create volume, how to paint the beak, how to create the feather texture, and this is the final outcome. I hope you enjoyed.